What is going on, Crypto Gang? It's me, back again. I am thrilled to be back with you. I missed you guys. I took holiday, if you will, of vacation, and a lengthy backpacking trip where there are no recording studios, and got to some good isolation and rejuvenation. Anyway, I am grateful for all the comments and for all those who missed me. I missed you. I'm sure everyone already at the edge of their seats just by reading the title. Guys, it's true. Crypto regulations will be coming in soon and hard. It's no secret that the U.S. government doesn't like Bitcoin. That's because crypto challenges the U.S. dollar and will likely lead to a change in power. That has led the U.S. government and other whales in the business to engage in some shady plans to try and halt the future of cryptocurrencies as a whole. Now, if you haven't noticed, Bitcoin is in the spotlight, and so is XRP. Only one of these two crypto giants is the one true coin that will likely survive the regulations. As always, we welcome you back to Money Side, where we let the money do the talking. If you're new here, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you get updates whenever we drop a new video. Stick to the end because we'll break down the price action of XRP and show you what to look for. Remember, this is for entertainment purposes only. Right, let's dive in. Apparently, senators are getting paid to get rid of Bitcoin completely, specifically Brad Sherman, a U.S. senator. That is according to an article published on fee.org. I'll only highlight some of the important parts that are relevant to today's topic. So the article states, one of the biggest opponents of cryptocurrency in Washington is Congressman Brad Sherman, a California Democrat who has, in the past, called for cryptos to be banned. At a Wednesday hearing for the House Committee on Financial Services, Sherman harshly criticized cryptocurrency and renewed his calls for its prohibition. Cryptocurrency is something you can bet on, but if people want to have the animal spirits to take risks, I prefer them to invest in equity markets to support the building of American companies, or the California Lottery to support the schools in my state. Sherman said, cryptocurrencies are highly volatile, so if one person makes $1 million and 9 lose 100,000, Coinbase makes money. The millionaire goes on TV and says how wonderful it is, and 9 others do not retire in dignity. The congressman also claimed that evading the Know Your Customer rule is the one thing cryptocurrencies have as an advantage to the U.S. dollar. Cryptocurrencies have the political support of the patriotic anarchists who are rooting for tax evasion. Sherman concluded, I hope we shut it down. Emphasis added. The California congressman gets so much wrong here that it's difficult to know where to begin. For one, Sherman seems to think that his personal views on how to invest money should be superimposed on all Americans. Simply put, the congressman and his Washington pals think they know better, and little people like you or me are too foolish to make these decisions for ourselves. This is not only arrogant, but incorrect. You and I have infinitely more knowledge and familiarity with our own financial situation, acceptable levels of risk, investment goals, etc., than detached politicians and bureaucrats could ever have. It logically follows that we will make better decisions for ourselves than if a top-down, one-size-fits-all approach is crammed down on us from Washington. I mean, the congressman is telling people they should put their money in the California Lottery, and the odds for the grand prize are about 1 in 41.4 million. We're supposed to trust his financial advice? Moreover, Sherman's rhetoric about a select few cryptocurrency winners getting rich off the backs of losers is a classic example of the zero-sum fallacy. It's economically untrue that wealth gains must necessarily come from someone else's losses. Indeed, when transactions are voluntary, they must inherently serve both parties' interests. If they didn't, the parties wouldn't agree to it. So the picture the congressman paints of a cryptocurrency as exploitation is by no stretch of the imagination the reality. People can gain value without others always having to lose. Sherman also misstates the differences between cryptocurrency and the U.S. dollar. He overlooks the key difference. Cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin are beyond central control, and their price cannot be inflated by a central authority. However, the U.S. dollar can be inflated by the Federal Reserve when it prints new money. In fact, that's exactly what's happening right now. Why does someone with such dubious and ill-informed views on cryptocurrency want to superimpose his judgment on the entire country via government bans? Well, it's no doubt due in part to the natural arrogance that plagues humans. especially those who become politicians. But there's also a more cynical yet simple answer. Some of Congressman Sherman's biggest donors are big banks and mainstream financial institutions, the same interests threatened by the rise of cryptocurrency. Okay, first off, I don't know who told Brad that cryptos are used to evade taxes. I mean, most people only want to make a fortune from this crypto world. And yes, it does pay off. The one thing he got right is that cryptocurrencies are focused on redistributing the power back to the public, which is almost to say that it's against the US dollar. Next, Bitcoin isn't even designed to replace the US dollar. I can tell you for a fact that Bitcoin doesn't even begin to scratch the surface of how to replace the dollar. But what I can tell you is that XRP could potentially take that spot, and no one will see it coming. That's because everyone is so focused on regulating Bitcoin and forgetting what is happening with XRP versus the SEC. Ripple will potentially win the case and create even more meaningful partnerships with crypto and fiat giants. And once that happens, we'll witness the rise of CBDCs. And guess which crypto will be providing them with liquidity? XRP, duh. Elon back tweeting again. This time he's saying Bitcoin and Ethereum are pursuing a multi-layer transaction system, but base layer transaction rate is slow and transaction cost is high. There is merit, in my opinion, to Doge maximizing base layer transaction rate and minimizing transaction cost, with exchanges acting as the de facto secondary layer. To the Lifeboats responds to Elon's tweet saying, I don't know about the Doge part, but the XRP community has been beating this drum for a long time, which is actually very true. XRP has been in it for the longest time possible, and it's almost making this a reality. In fact, Flare combines the best of both worlds. That's XRP's cross-border feature and Ethereum's smart contracts to give you a better blockchain technology. Additionally, Flare will allow XRP to be used on Ethereum, which will eventually skyrocket the price of XRP. Guys, I'm telling you that this coin is about to hit the $20 mark soon, or even higher to $10,000. XRP and Ripple did not come to play, and they are about to change the entire cryptocurrency community. Higher Manus tweeted, regulations and CBDCs are being timed together. One will not exist without the other. Both bring crypto mainstream. This market is about to experience a massive shift to legitimacy. Know which assets to own. XRP, CSC, FLR, ensure your own private keys. I don't know who needs to hear this, but XRP is about to explode. The reason why we've seen delays in the implementation of CBDCs is because of the lack of enough regulations in the market. Every government is skeptical of the crypto market, and with good reason. That's why the CBDCs are stuck at beta testing for now. But once the crypto regulations are implemented, CBDCs will be all over the place. Now get this. XRP and Ripple have been under the microscope to clearly state where they stand, where the company is selling securities or not. The only reason this company has been in the limelight is not that they are wrong, but they are unclear about what Ripple is selling, at least according to the SEC. Once that's verified and Ripple is given the go-ahead, this company will single-handedly lead XRP's price through the roof. Why can't you see that? No one is talking about XRP being security. The primary concern is on the sale of XRP during the launch date. Even other countries are already making meaningful partnerships with Ripple, including central banks. We've also witnessed the merge of Ethereum and XRP through Flare. This company is slowly crawling its way to the top, and no one can stop it. The focus now is how the crypto regulations will affect the market. But I honestly believe that these crypto regulations will lure the hedge funds to the crypto market, thereby driving the prices to unthinkable heights. The only reason the whales haven't gone all in on cryptos is that the market is wild, and I mean that literally. When compared to Forex and stock markets, the volatility in the crypto market is pretty crazy. However, I think that will change once the regulations are put in place. With that in mind, let's take a look at the price action of XRP. Now we're taking a look at the 4-hour time frame. XRP USDT has just formed a bullish Gartley, which is a bullish harmonic pattern. Perfect entry would be at point D of the pattern, but since it has moved upwards since then, you might want to enter a position after a small pullback from any of the targets I have placed according to fib levels. There is also a bullish divergence on the MACD, which is currently playing out. XRP, like every other coin, is at the mercy of Bitcoin. So if Bitcoin behaves, then this should be a successful trade setup for you. XRP has low volatility in the last weeks, and it moves with a lot of up-down swings that don't give us a clear direction. If the price stays below the orange trend line, we give a higher probability for a continuation to the downside. If the price breaks the trend line and consolidates above with a nice structured correction, that may be a sign for the upcoming upside. As always, trade safely, guys. Please keep in mind we're not a licensed financial advisor. All videos on this channel are intended for entertainment purposes only. Tell us what you think in the comment section below and let's have a conversation. Once again, great to be back with you. Thanks as always for watching. Don't forget to like this video and to click on the subscribe button below. Turn on notifications so you get informed whenever we post our amazing content. Thanks again, and we'll look forward to seeing you in the next video.